Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for Tuesday, July 8th, 2025. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Well, we had the remnants of Chantal live through the region yesterday, producing scattered thunderstorms that are capable of some very heavy rainfall. And as expected, it was a lot of hit and miss type scenarios here, where some locations got over an inch, even 2 inches of rain, and some localized flash flooding, and other locations barely had anything. Most likely, many of you had barely anything, and other locations had a lot of rain in a very short period of time. And that's the nature of tropical low pressure systems and tropical environments like what we're in, where you may not get a lot of rain, but your neighbor gets 2 inches, which can lead to urban flooding and all sorts of issues, especially with travel. And it can be a very difficult forecast to make. So before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe. It actually helps the channel out quite a bit. I don't make flashy little images to go with these videos, just the straight facts. So unfortunately, it doesn't always work well with the algorithm. So if you'd like to beat the algorithm, definitely let them know that you like this channel. And of course, we also have the premium consulting membership, which is only $15 a month, where we go over the tropics and more details into the science of meteorology, and also allows you to ask me, hey, can I have this party or not? So, hey, it helps out quite a bit. So let's dive into the data here. Now let's take a look, and you can see it is awfully steamy out there. It is tropical. We have dew points in the 70s. Temperatures right now range from the mid to upper 70s over the northern interior, upper 70s to lower 80s in your suburbs, lower to mid 80s in your urban areas. With those dew points in the 70s, it feels more like the upper 90s. It's just steamy and disgusting and uncomfortable out there. Off to our northwest, this is a stationary front, and when we take a look at the WeatherTap radar and surface map, you can see it's pretty quiet right now over our neck of the woods, but this stationary front is going to slowly sink towards our region, and that will instigate the development of showers and thunderstorms for later this afternoon and this evening, especially for the evening rush hour for the I-95 corridor. Because of the tropical nature of the atmosphere, well, those thunderstorms are going to be capable of producing some very heavy rainfall and something that we call downburst wind gusts. That's when the moisture in the atmosphere is lifted up, it condenses, it cools, and then slams back towards the ground like a hammer. It can produce wind gusts over 55 miles per hour, thus severe threat. And also with all this high level of moisture, you can have thunderstorms with frequent lightning and also hail. So this should be a rather stormy evening, unfortunately, for the region. So if you have any plans for the outdoors, like baseball or something, look, I know you're going to try and get the game in, but if you're holding a metal bat and you're anywhere near a thunderstorm, those two things don't really work out too well for people. So just putting that out there. So you make your plans, but just know what is the threat. Taking a look at the visible satellite picture, is quiet right now. Plenty of sunny skies. Guess what? That means our atmosphere is going to stabilize as well, and our CAPE values are going to go through the roof above 2,000 joules per kilogram. What that basically means is that there's a lot of power built up in the atmosphere, a lot of potential energy. So as a result, when these thunderstorms are able to pop, not all of them, but quite a few of them are going to be capable of reaching those severe levels. So we're going to have to really watch out for that, especially if you're in southeastern Pennsylvania and southwestern New Jersey. And as we move into the evening hours, even northeastern Pennsylvania, watch out for that as well. The closer you are to the coast, there's still a threat of thunderstorms, but the very nature of the more stable environment on the coast, and also because these thunderstorms are going to be approaching later in the evening, they'll be a bit weaker, but still strong. So definitely be prepared for that. On the infrared satellite picture, the setup here is that this cold front, it's moving in what we call a parallel environment. What that basically means is that the upper level winds are moving along with the cold front. So that cold front isn't moving all that much. And unfortunately, it is going to be a unwelcomed guest over our region all the way on through the weekend, keeping us unsettled. Now, this does not mean it's a washout. Just, hey, if you have any outdoor plans, keep an eye to the sky, have your NOAA weather radio handy. You can get it from Midland. It's a great thing to have because no matter where you're at, it will always work. Even if there's low cell phone coverage, this radio will always work. So definitely check that out. We talk about it on the live chat. We'll do it again on Wednesday because I think it's very important. So let's dive into this forecast for today. It is muggy, it is disgusting, and it is uncomfortable. That's the best way to describe the atmosphere right now. High temperature today will range from the lower to mid 80s over the northern interior, upper 80s to mid 90s on the I-95 corridor, upper 80s to lower 90s along the coast, and mid to upper 80s on Long Island. With the humidity, though, temperatures will feel like they're in the upper 90s to lower 100s. It's just going to feel uncomfortable out there. So if you are outside, drink plenty of water. Try to stay cool because it's kind of like working in a sauna the entire day, which can really wear on you. Then the showers and thunderstorms start to invade later this evening. Let's say after 3 p.m. over extreme east central Pennsylvania. And then as we move through the rush hour, these thunderstorms will be approaching the I-95 corridor and moving towards the coast after the 8 p.m. hour. And again, these thunderstorms can produce very heavy rainfall, frequent lightning, hail, wind gusts over 55 miles per hour, just nasty conditions. By tomorrow morning, the cold front stalls over the region and we'll have variable cloud cover, some low clouds, an isolated shower here and there, but for the most part quiet, with low temperatures in the mid to upper 60s over the northern interior, upper 60s to lower 70s in the suburbs, and lower to mid 70s in your urban areas. By the afternoon, we'll have that frontal boundary hanging around with the threat for an isolated shower or thunderstorm. Other than that, a mix of sun and clouds, with high temperatures ranging from the lower to mid 80s over the northern interior, mid to upper 80s on Long Island, and upper 80s to lower 90s everywhere else, with humidity making it feel more like the mid to upper 90s. Then this weather pattern is locked in for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And you know what? We'll throw in Tuesday as well. Basically, this frontal boundary is hanging around and it's going to waver around the region. And each day is going to feature a mix of sun and clouds and a threat for isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. What makes this forecast even more complicated is that with each thunderstorm complex, we get what we call these outflow boundaries, so let's say the ghost of these thunderstorms, which produces additional boundaries, which can produce additional thunderstorms. So while this forecast period is not a washout, it is certainly unsettled. So if you have outdoor plans, you want to keep that in the back of your mind. And if you start to hear thunder, head indoors because that thunderstorm could develop rapidly without very little notice. So just be careful of that. As far as the temperature, it's not going to be changing all that much. Over the interior, look for low temperatures in the mid to upper 60s and high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s with high levels of humidity. Along the immediate coast, like on Long Island, look for low temperatures in the lower to mid 70s and high temperatures ranging from the upper 70s to mid 80s. Now, the upper 70s to mid 80s will depend on whether or not you get that influence from the sea breeze front, which is more likely over the southern side of Long Island, and the mid 80s more towards the center of Long Island. With the humidity, it's still going to feel like the lower to mid 90s. And of course, on the I-95 corridor, and along the coast, we could throw both of them in here. Look for low temperatures in the lower to mid 70s. High temperatures will range from the mid 80s to lower 90s. And the dew points will be in the 70s. So your heat index will continue to remain from the mid 90s to lower 100s. So just a sticky, unsettled environment. Winds aren't going to be that strong. They're going to be light and variable most of the time. And if you get one of these thunderstorms, they're going to be slow moving and they can produce quite a bit of rainfall in a very short period of time. So if you're caught in one, please don't try to drive through it. Please don't drive through submerged water. It may be deeper than you think. And as always, stay safe out there. In the meantime, see you later.